Hello and welcome to a show that's got no name. John Walter, welcome to Sydney. Aaron Macey. Yeah, lovely. Part of it's a Racing Extra, and I'm extra, and you're here. We just thought it was a good time. John Walter's down back in his hometown of Sydney, catching up with the family for a couple of weeks. I thought it was an opportune time to say hello, give you another welcome to the team, which you've been a part of now for what, about 6 to 8 months?
Yeah, it goes quick.
Has it been August? Okay, I thought it was longer than that. Anyway, well, John, for those who don't know, John's a pro punter, basically specialises in New South Wales racing. John joined our team primarily as part of ProBetta Live in August, working hand in hand with Darren Potter on that, which we'll tell you about a little bit more. But and also providing a $20 service, which has hit them right out of the park, John. Basically, most meetings around New South Wales, you send out a few selections for that meeting with units on them.
Yeah, so pretty. Yeah, it's every day, so it never stops. But usually 2 or 3 or 4 max, something like that. But it's worked out pretty well so far.
Some huge prize winners there. Just so the people who didn't see the first video and they don't know you, as you said, you work on just about every New South Wales meeting, and you are as dedicated as anyone is to doing the form in the world, if not the universe.
Yes, much to my missus with the 15-month-old baby that I don't help out a lot with. Yeah, she loves it, but no, I'm pretty sick for it, so yeah, that's about it. Yeah. I don't like to miss a day, and yeah, you don't want to miss an opportunity, so then no one else does, so it's good, works out for everyone.
And as we said, mainly specialising in New South Wales?
Yeah, New South Wales 100%. Every now and then a New South Wales horse will go somewhere, and that's when I tend to follow on, but yeah, New South Wales only pretty much. And
again, for those who didn't realise, pro punting for how long? You've you had a history with Jelko, with working not
That's
far
the only
away
real
from
job I've really ever had. I worked for corporate for a while, but other than that, yeah, so it's pretty much my whole since I was about 16, I guess, so what's that, 17 years too, yeah.
And came through the City betting ring like a lot of the superstars have.
Yeah, I caught up with old Warren the other day, the election that, but always in the Sydney ring and all around.
And learn the trade there.
It's been a training camp under Warren's. There's been some very smart punters.
Bobby Grimberg was always running through them all with me the other day. Even the ones who then they've gone on to have rocket science positions. The ones that have escaped punting, the few lucky ones that escaped, they've gone on to other big jobs. So.
Definitely has been, isn't it? It's definitely a funnel into it. Professional punting. We'll mention ProBetta Live and a bit more about that for people who don't understand it. A great way to spend an afternoon and a very successful way to spend an afternoon. But pro punting, why do it? Why keep doing it? What's the attraction? What does it for you?
It's for myself personally, it's like a game. So it's like another sport. I'm pretty sick for sport as well. So to me, it's like making a living out of playing a sport. Other than probably I wasn't good enough at golf or those sort of things. So I ended up with punting. But every day's a new beast. It's never the same. You're always adapting to things, learning new things, and that's what it is. Rather than you're not sitting in an office, you dictate yourself the hours you work and stuff like that. And that it's probably one of the best games in the world, that you can be a part of and make a living out of. So.
We haven't done this for a while, Aaron. This is normally when newcomers, the young person coming through, asks the things that he likes, and he looks at from the form point of view. Unlike when you ring him off your guts at 2 o'clock in the morning and have a 3 hour chat.
That was one of the best calls I've enjoyed for a while. Not many people are up doing the form at 3 in the morning, but I was actually only better at
He sounds
dedicated.
And he needed somebody to talk to.
I like talking about form and wine.
You made sense. It was all good.
But as I was saying, this is normally the part you ask some of the key things you look for in the form and all that sort of stuff. Would you care to ask that, Aaron?
Yeah, well, that is something I am rather interested in, considering John and I do have blow-ups when I do a trial articles. We're hiding.
Stop putting the hidden horse in the trial, but that's only happened about 10 times so far.
So what are the things that you do look at? So are you someone that is more of a video watcher, or do you look at ratings?
I think, not knowing you that well so far, but I think we do sort of fall in line a bit more than others that use, ratings and things like that, where it's pretty much 90% video watching and getting a feel for the horse rather than getting a feel for the numbers that everyone else is looking at. So you're trying to get your edge that way rather than really looking at the horses individually and their characteristics and things rather than what they do. Like a horse that might rate through the roof or whatever, and they've all got their places and things like that ratings, but when everyone's seeing that, and then but you're looking at the horse and you're thinking, "Oh, hang on, this horse is not genuine," or something like that, you can get a huge edge out of those sort of horses. And it might be the opposite. You might, horses that aren't rating that well, but they're doing things that others can't do, and they're doing things wrong, and you get an edge out of them the other way.
So it's more in kind of old school way of doing performance.
Yeah, which is harder because everyone's got access to vision and things now, so you're always you're battling that. But there's still an edge there as long as you.
Well, actually, it's almost the reverse edge, isn't it? Because I suppose if you wind back the clock to the 80s, if you had a video, Cookie, for instance, was one of the first to have videos. What an edge! If for people out there who are doing it, could you imagine you're the only one who's got access to watching replays? And that was the case then. So I suppose now the edge comes in, maybe getting on the top of the misinterpretation.
The over,
that thing, the over analysis of videos, or the overuse of ratings, or the overuse of whatever, and then coming back the other way.
You basically start it all. Everyone says barrier one's great, so then you go, well,
what
line through barrier one. That's right. Yeah, so you
right,
just reverse think everything, and 90% of the time things are overplayed, which is great. And even if they're not, like everything says this is right, and you can look at a horse and you can just notice something about it. There's a huge edge in that horse because everything does stack up, but the horse is still an animal, and it's no, that's right. They don't so it's.
Now, one of the great things we've been able to do in the last little bit, and started before bringing you online, but bringing you into it was really lifted it to another level, is what we call ProBetta Live. Lots of core people have been involved in it, and they stay involved with it and love it. And I think ourselves, we love doing it because it gives, when you've been at the races on Saturday, but when you're away from where you are, Darren Potter's covering Melbourne, you got me in the mounting yard in Sydney, Warren in the mounting yard there, we've got information from the betting rings coming through. I think just even from our own point of view, it's been something that's been a great addition to our little world.
I've been at home, and that was the first time I've been to the races with you, so I've seen it from home and the advantage it gives to me because I'm obviously not got access to everything, but then to see what you guys are seeing, like I haven't been there for a while myself, and then watching you guys go out and do things, it even makes more sense to how much information is being spoon-fed to the guys in the room.
That's right. And I think spoon-fed's the way to do it because it's not complicated in what we say. It's just like, okay, well, this is the way this horse is paraded. Then you'll make your judgment on whether that's enough to change your thing.
And if you can't get value out of either, if you like what I do, or if you like what Darren does, or you like what you guys do, or you like just the information from the betting ring, it's all got value. So it's not.
It's nice to know sometimes you can have a horse and your horse is blowing and you're thinking, why the hell is my horse blowing?
Yeah.
But it's because Kingsley or the doctor and the ratings boys are just absolutely hammering it.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
and then you know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
It's not your horse isn't off, and you go the tick. Yeah, the horse looks fine, but the big boys have a little bit more money.
Open Book on Saturday was a big example of that. We couldn't work it out. There was the favourite Maker Mark or something like Dale said it had improved, but not enough to make it a 5-2 chance when the other one was a 6-1 chance and had beaten it comfortably at the start before, had everything else. But there was no reason for it.
No, it was just there was a group of people on that, and something has to give, and that it's not an off play. But then some of the conversely, the other times you can say no, this is actually an off play because you can see it, and every time it puts its head above water, it goes again, and there's not 1 cent for it. So they're the little things that we can. And they're trying to bring you the intelligence of the betting ring, the mounting yard, then it assessed peripherally by yourself and Darren, who aren't involved in the middle of things too. You can look at it from a way back, and as I said,
we wouldn't have that access without.
So look, for basically the cost of even less than the cost of Darren's and John's set, $99 a week, you get the chat room access, and even if it is just knowing what horses Kingsley's backed or Fletcher's backed or whoever's backed, just to put a bit of a pattern towards that as well too. It's just probably the best value, and you'll get more out of that product than you will from anything sitting at home. And you even saw it yourself. You haven't been to the race the last couple of days due to
few incidents.
Accidental nights out. But you were able to see it from when you're normally part of an area.
Thing, I get to see the little bits, and all that little bits of information is good, especially when you are cast on the couch.
gives you something to do, and of course you can also ask questions too, which a lot of people do.
Yeah, that's right. So even if Darren or I don't like something, or they want us to further explain something, or they want to ask something of you from the yard that we haven't covered, it's all. And then everyone seems to get into it too. which is
Absolutely. So look, I mean, like, there's no real big sell to it because the product sells itself. It's enormous. You get John and Darren, both their preliminary sets that normally come through about Thursday night-ish, thereabouts, depending on what else has happened. So you get them right from the word go. You get the updated sets.
And if you can get on using those, there's a huge advantage over the Saturday
Absolutely, absolutely. So there's two functions to them. You can use them actually. Well, you can do whatever you like with them, obviously, but. One bit of advice I think that Darren said is that if you've got your X amount of bank, you spend half of it on the early markets and then keep half of it for what we update the sets throughout and change the betting structure throughout the afternoon, which is not a bad way of thinking of it. But you get those, you get the morning sets of a Saturday, which is about 8:30ish, depending on what the scratchings are. And then the chat room starts. We kick off normally from around about 10 or 11 o'clock, depending on what time the first is. Give you the full read of the tracks. How the tracks are playing.
There's another huge advantage.
That's right. Like, we'll be on top of the tracks a lot of the time, but I'll walk the track as soon as I get there, straight away, let you know. And
it's something that's changed a lot, just of recent, because you always had such a great handle on the track. The one thing that we've seen is they've fiddled around with it.
They're trying to be tricky.
Well, they're trying to be tricky. Everyone's realising, like, rail 6 metres on pace on fence. Where now they're starting to do things to the track and they are changing.
Well, there was the time about a month ago, thereabouts, John, that I've come back and thought there was rail true.
Yeah.
And I said, hang on, this grass is shorter on the inside. So now we couldn't really work out at the time whether shorter grass, less firm, was going to equal whatever, but it ended up being fair. But I mean, normally you'd be approaching that as fence off, don't want to be there.
100% off.
And it was like, hang on, it might not be the case.
Get away with it.
And so which I think saved us all a bit of money. So.
Yeah, and even if I walk out there and look at it, I'm not going to notice that. You walk out there every week and notice it straight away, so no one's going to pick that up.
So it's all little edges that hopefully we can bring and hopefully increase your success at the punting. I mean, if you are sitting at home following Twitter as opposed to following this, it's just, and if you're buying professional sets, you're getting Darren's set, John's set, plus all that information for $99 a week. It is a steal, John Walter, and they're winning. You're winning about 15%, Darren's winning 15%. So, and then plus all the extra information.
There might be one or two times in the history of it that we've both lost on the same day.
Yeah, that's right, exactly right. And as you said, on top of that, it's never a total strip out because of all the information you're getting as well too.
Yeah, that's right. So, exactly. You don't have to use mine or Darren's or anyone's. You can, even if you just want to ask questions of yourself or whatever.
and also there's the things from the future point of view that we might discuss at the time, like a horse that we might have been against that's got up on us that's paraded shit or something like that. You think, well, actually, it's one parading shit. So, tick for next time.
That's what we were talking about that Saturday. I remember, like, we go through the book, I was constantly saying to you, this is one that you saw first up that was fat or wasn't, or whatever. And I've got the similar information I get from provincials and things. That's huge advantage going forward because you just know where that horse was on that day.
That's right. Whether that was as fast as it could possibly run, or actually that wasn't as fast as it could possibly run, and it still did well.
It's a big thing to have knowing because sometimes you can put a lines for a horse's run, but if you've known this.
But it's a horse you want to follow.
It's a horse you want to follow. Well, as fat as a big, there's an excuse.
Yeah, that's right. And I think we'll put an article up with this, but. If ever there was one horse, you can't live and die on one horse, but Ocean Grand.
Yeah.
Like, we all knew it was the best horse in this highway series. It's paraded first up, fat, unlucky, second up. You'll see the conversation and have a look at the article and you'll see this is where you get the absolute value out of ProBetta Live, and you'll watch how our thought process went through it to the ultimate point to say, right, and we knew that there was a
great race too because that favourite was a bit vulnerable too for a lot of reasons which we went through. And
it was $1.80. We're $8 and declaring. It was almost like the market should have been the other way around. But you'll see that from the information. Anyway, that's enough selling ProBetta Live. Or if you want to go up front for the 12 months, there's lots of 12-month packages around the side as well too at the moment. But I think this one's $24.99 if you wanted to go 12 months straight off the bat, which is better than half price because there's also the public holidays that I don't tell him about that he just has to get up and do and not have any sleep.
It's been a long week for different reasons, different people.
Like you get Cup Day, Oaks Day, all that sort of stuff as well too. So there's more than 52 weeks of the year in it. So it's $24.99 up front or $99 a week straight away. So we back to what we were talking about. Now, you mentioned halfway through they're getting on early. It's the changing landscape and it's one of the challenges for anyone who does start winning or betting at any professional level, or even not even a professional level and winning. How have you found it? How's that changed? How hard is it getting?
I would love them to abolish the early prices because it's so punishing and it is so hard to get on. But it does have a big influence over the market until probably 12 o'clock on race day or something, when other people start to influence it. They can get on a bit more. But the early markets are they can go at 140 or something, which is a huge, like 40% in their favour allegedly, and they still make huge mistakes, even on Saturdays with horses that are really exposed. During the week's better, but or better for the punter, worse for them. But you can get on for a little bit more Saturdays, and we'll find, like Darren, I think, found a horse last Wednesday, just off the top of my head, that he had like 8 units on it or something, and it was $8, started 9 to 4. It got beat, but that's like there's the ones that we find that we're very confident about and priced a lot shorter. Like 90% of them are going to firm. So there's a business in that.
Exactly right. And if you are somebody who likes to lay back and to crunch, that's a great business.
There is.
That's almost getting
for $100 a week. Like that even is a business.
Yeah, that's right.
So
exactly, with the facility, be able to get on.
Yeah.
Getting on the day. Obviously, we had the limits in New South Wales taken up to 2,000 as the minimum. It's a help. It's a help.
Massive help. It allows people, especially country provincial punters, to not have to go through bowlers 99% of the time, like I'm sure the other guys have to do, which is just a nightmare. You're always closing accounts, opening. It's frustrating, but it is what it is. You got to deal with it. Like who's the Dan Kelly? That was the greatest thing. Like he was saying, deadens and things like that. It's just all these things now. You just got to forget them. Put your energy into trying to find a winner and
do what you got to do,
moving forward, because it's just you're fighting a losing battle. So 2,000 is great. Like
I'd imagine, especially for you, it'd be almost the best gift wrap present for somebody like you whose bread and butter probably is more country than it is city.
It is.
So I mean, with 2,000 for country, it almost seemed a dream once. Whereas city, it's sort of, it still seems a little. How does
that make sense? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it still seems when a rails bookmaker still has to lay it to 5,000, and a mega zillion.
I was telling a guy, I remember
2000.
we took a horse to Bathurst once, and I remember I had to get the steward out to bet him to lose 1,000. They didn't want to bet to lose 1,000, and now they got to bet to lose 2. So it's probably, if you want to side with them, it's nearly unfair that they've got to bet to lose 2 there.
You would think so.
So it's kind of, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
But anyway, so that's been a help.
Please don't stop it.
No, exactly right. What are the other changing landscapes you've seen in the world of the punting this year, 2015 going to 16?
Certainly the domination of you've got Waller in the big races, but even during the week he's not a dominating force. But you've got a lot more stables, especially in New South Wales, that are presenting. There's some few trainers around the country provincials that are popping their head up and got the some younger guys. Matty Dale, and there's another couple of guys down that Canberra way, and there's that Brett Thompson. He's starting to look pretty good. He's starting to look alright. He's got a good little stable. He's probably not winning as many races as he can at the moment, but he'll come good. There's and they're starting to get horses that are nearly look like they can come to town.
Like we've seen the horses, a lot of horses starting to look good.
There was a couple of horses at Gosford while I was there that even she had that looked good, and like a horse at Waterhouse at Gosford that looks good. It just wins, and these horses were not.
But Gay hasn't been there. Gay.
Is she going to come back though?
I don't know. I mean, she's getting older. I
read the paper today. She said Slumber Party should be the $1.70 favourite.
We should have had one last start. It would have been good. No, it goes good. The horse.
It goes very good.
It goes good, but I don't know how it can be $1.70 favourite against Capitalist. Is it? It should be $1.70 against whoever it raced last start. But the added horses, a bit of an issue. A bit of an issue.
You mentioned those country trainers. That it has been one hole that has been taken, and maybe this highway series is going to drag them back to town. When I was coming, into the late teens, early 20s, and starting in the work in the year, Bede was one of the people who always had it, but Barb Joseph would have a favourite, Keith Swan would have a favourite in town. Just about every one of these trainers out of half the races in town, there'd be a country trainer from one of those jurisdictions that would have a horse hard in the market with a realistic chance.
Well, Bashford, who's got that Ocean Grand, he had some good horses.
Ken Grande, Harris, there you go.
And now he's starting to bring a couple.
Maybe that brings them down, because that whole leading country trainer bringing a horse to town we've lost. It has been that, and I suppose O'Shea going to there and Snowden going to there is a
Funnily, what
better
I like,
play.
because of these rating systems that they've got now that are madness, if you take a horse to the provincials and it wins, all of a sudden you've got a rating of 65 or something and you're out of business.
That's where they've got to really look at, because the trainers, the trainers just won't bring them.
Well, Bjorn started to take him the other way, which is great. Timmy Martin used to do it when he was at his top, and some of the other guys did, and the guys in Melbourne, like Moody, used to do it all the time with provincial horses taken where they could win, and Weir and these guys, and it doesn't happen much up here, but it's good to see, because you get some quality there, and and even like some of them aren't any good. Yeah. But they still start short, so that adds a different dimension.
That's where it comes down to knowing your horses.
It does. So it's a good thing, because
take all the Woodangs out there and just lay the shit out of them.
Woodang it up, like Craigley.
Glenn and I've got a new. I don't know if you heard of. Glenn and I've got a pearl that anything Woodang just gets a line through it. They're no good.
There is a good Woodang.
No, they're no good. They can't go.
One that goes good.
They can't go.
He's got a line through it. He's not going to tell us about it. I bet he doesn't put that in his little trial article. He's got that one up his sleeve.
Yeah. So John, next year, have you had to make any changes to what you've done? I mean, you say you learn something every day, you'll do it. Is there any major shifts, or is it just a gradual shift and gradual knowledge building as you go on?
Well, funnily enough, as I said, I don't talk about ratings or use them as much, but listening to you guys, and I'm not plugging, this is not pre-fashion, but the Accardi stuff, when I talked to Vince, and I said to Dallas, I said I didn't know a lot about him, and I don't, like a lot of these ratings guys, I don't really believe in them at all. Well, I do, what they do is what they do, but I spoke to Vince for like an hour one day, and he lives, breathes the product, and whether it be, the information going into it is meticulously put together, and that's the key to whether you use the information, you love it or hate it. That's up to you, but it's very useful.
At least the starting point basis, right? And for people who don't know, your official times, your official margins, your official track ratings, especially. Officially not right.
Yeah, because that's all I want to know. Like, as someone who looks at a horse and goes, well, "Was that real?" I want to know whether it was real, and I don't want to know whether it was real because someone hand timed it.
And look, I mean, like they can be half a second out either way, and that's 6 weeks.
It's only a small margin.
So that's been something that I've definitely added as another check, and and that's been really useful to me, and that's probably the biggest change, actually, the way I do things, and it cuts my time down too, because all that information is really
when it's there and you can trust it, you don't have to put your checks on it.
Absolutely. So that's been a big change.
Beautiful. All right, well, mate, I suppose it's just onward and upward. Keep churning out, as we mentioned. ProBetta Live, or if you just want to get your sets individually, you can get them for $55 a week every Saturday, and also Wednesdays.
Most Wednesdays, 99% of the time.
Most of the time there, and of course, if you just want to have a bit of a play around. Weekly, the $20 weekly service is a huge winner, and you've got some seriously well-priced winners throughout that. So you mentioned most New South Wales meetings, 7 days a week, just about. There'll be meetings like today. I think it was a
washout. Only because of we can see if anyone wants to watch Starry today. It doesn't look too exciting.
There'll be a few let the ball goes to the keepers, but so say 6 out of 7 days you'll get tips around New South Wales, and they're well in front as well too. So mate, well, good to have you on board, and we'll. Keep going with ProBetta Live, and just go to any of the shops to purchase the products, and good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Enjoy.
No worries.
Call you again soon.
Yeah.
Party season's over, Aaron. Time to roll the sleeves up. Thank you.
Cheers.